you like to make music? Maybe you can play an instrument like the piano or the guitar or the flute. Or perhaps you like to sing. Some of you might be in the school choir or a church choir. Hello everyone, I'm Kathleen Pelly. Welcome to Journey with Story. Today's story is an old fairy tale from the Brothers Grimm about 4 very unusual kinds of musicians who use their musical talents to get just what they want. Mums, dads, grandparents, all you grown-ups out there, I hope your little ones are enjoying Journey with Story. Our mission here is to help nurture a passion for stories in all of our children. It's a great way to improve listening skills, expand vocabulary, and foster empathy. You can help us with our mission by sharing this podcast with friends or families or schools or anyone who you may think might also enjoy it. Thank you. Let's take a journey with the Bremen Town Musicians. There once was a donkey who had worked for many years for his master, carrying heavy loads of grain day after day with no complaint. But now that the donkey had grown older and weaker, his master decided he would get rid of him. When the donkey found out about his master's cruel plan, he decided that he would set off and make his own way in the world. Now, some years before, in the city of Bremen, the donkey remembered he had heard bands playing music, and so he thought, "Well, when I bray, I make a very loud noise. I think I could become one of those musicians from the band." So off he headed into the city. Along the way, he came across an old scrawny dog lying on the ground, panting heavily. "Why are you so tired?" Donkey asked. "I'm not strong enough to go hunting with my master, and so he's just abandoned me here on the roadside." "Well, why don't you join me?" said Donkey. "I am on my way to Bremen to be a street musician. Perhaps you could be one too." The dog thought that was a grand idea and trotted off behind Donkey. A little further down the road, they saw a cat who was meowing so pitifully that both the donkey and the dog stopped to find out what ailed her so. "My teeth aren't as sharp as they used to be," wailed the cat. "Now I cannot even catch the littlest mouse. Oh, what will become of me?" "Well, why don't you join us?" said the donkey. "We are going to Bremen to become street musicians. You can sing with us and make night music." The cat thought this was a grand idea, and off she went side by side with the donkey and the dog. After many miles, the group came to a barnyard. On the fence perched a rooster who was crowing with all his might. "Why are you making such a racket?" asked the donkey. "I have just heard the most awful news," said the rooster. "Company is coming here on Sunday, and the master wants to put me in the soup." "Well, why don't you join us? We are going to Bremen to be street musicians, and you obviously have a very loud voice, so you could easily join our band." The rooster thought this was a very grand idea indeed. He flew from his perch and joined the group as they headed into the city together. The donkey, the dog, the cat, and the rooster. Now, it was a long journey to the city of Bremen, and so the 4 of them decided they needed a place to rest for the night. The rooster spied a house nearby, and when he flew there, he saw a warm fire in the fireplace, and so he called to the others to come and rest here for the night. Outside the house, the donkey, who was the tallest, peeked inside and saw a table filled with all sorts of good things to eat and drink. He noticed bags of gold and silver stacked all around the table, and he saw a group of robbers eating the food and making merry. The four musicians agreed they would need to come up with a plan to scare these robbers away so they could enjoy the food and have shelter for the night. The donkey stood on his hind legs with his front feet on the window. The dog stood on the donkey's back. The cat climbed onto the dog's back, and the rooster flew to the very top and stood on the cat's back. Then they all began to sing together. The donkey brayed, the dog barked, the cat meowed, and the rooster crowed. They made so much noise that the windows in the house shattered into pieces. The robbers were frightened out of their wits and scattered out of the house into the woods as fast as they could. So the donkey, the dog, the cat, and the rooster went into the house, and they ate and ate and ate until they could eat no more. Then they settled down for the night. The donkey lay in the yard, the dog lay behind the door in the house, the cat curled up by the fire, and the rooster flew to the top of the roof. Soon, exhausted by their long journey, all four of them fell fast asleep. Now, those robbers had been hiding outside in the woods, and when they saw the lights in the house go out, they went back to the house to find out who had made that terrible noise. One of the robbers tiptoed inside, and in the dark he could see the green eyes of the cat by the fire, which startled him. But when he struck a match so as to see a little better, the cat jumped up at him and scratched him with her sharp claws. The robber ran to the door, but the dog woke up and bit him on the leg. Out into the yard ran the robber, but there the donkey kicked him, and the rooster screeched and screamed, "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" So terrified was the robber that he told the other robbers, "Oh, there's a terrible monster in that house. It has green eyes that glow in the dark, and long arms with sharp nails, and big white teeth, and strong steel legs, and it makes a terrible screeching sound." As soon as they heard that, the robbers all ran away and never returned to the house again. And now that the four musicians had found themselves a good home with enough silver and gold to buy food and drink for the rest of their lives, they decided not to go to Bremen after all, but instead to make music here together in their new home. And to be sure, they might well still be there today, making their music. The donkey, the dog, the cat, and the rooster. I wonder if this story painted some pretty funny pictures in your imagination. You can share them with me. Just go to my website to see how at www.kathleenpelly.com. Cheerio then. Join me next time for Journey with Story.